Kain sa bahay. Narito na ang sagot mga katropa. Ang super manok lechon. Napapawi sa inyong gutom at siguradong mapapa-anirize ka dahil sa tender juicy na jam mo pa. At siguradong malinis at bagong katay buhat sa farm. Kaya super masalasa at pangmasa pa. Ano pa hinihintay nyo mga katropa? Takbo na sa Super Manok Panteño Siniluan at bumili na. Baka maabusan ka, katropa.
Now, we are
Talakayin.
The biggest destruction of dangerous drugs worth 1.2
Rebisahin.
billion.
Opinyon. Malawaking. Aksyonan. Kasama si ROCEL LOPEZ, ang inyong katropa sa pagbabalita. Dito lang sa Millennial Online TV. Tutok na mga katropa.
Barangay, pangunahing unit ng pamahalaan lokal kung saan dito pinag-uusapan ang bawat sigalot ng mga residente ng bawat barangay. Dito rin pinag-uusapan ng mga piling halal na opisyal na barangay ang mga proyekto para sa kanilang barangay. Kumustahin natin ang panunungkulan ni Kapitan dito sa Dama Barangay sa Millennial Online TV Worldwide, ang katropa ng bawat barangay.
Ating tinatapos ang ating pagpupulong. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagdalo at tapos na po ang ating session. Enjoy na po tayo.
Mga millennials, marunong na ba kayong magluto ng mga masasarap at swak sa budget na mga pagkain? Abay, wag puro lang kayo aksi at ML at puro pagkakalikot lang ng cellphone. Dapat marunong ka rin sa gawaing bahay at tulungan ang inyong mga mamsi. Kaya tara na, samahan natin ang kusinera ng bagong milenyo, si Ate J. At tuturuan tayong magluto ng mga masasarap na ulam para sa ating mga hapagkainan at swak pa sa budget. Ika nga, a delicious food on a proper price. Tara na, mga katropa! I-type lang sa inyong mga cellphone, sa inyong mga Facebook at YouTube, ang Millennial Online TV.
Hanap mo ba ay Unwind Ventures? Tara nang mamangha sa mga tanawin. Ano man ang iyong travel goals? Dadalhin namin kayo. Sa Unwind Ventures at saya. Dito lang sa Wow Biyahe. Kaya wow, di ba?
Abangan dito lang sa Millennial Online TV. Binaigting, binalakas ang bagong news online TV ng bagong milenyo. Millennial Online TV, ang katropa mo sa pagbabalita. ikaw ba'y nag-iisa? Nalulungkot dahil iniwan at ipinagpalit niloko ng iyong minamahal. Kung ngayon, i-type sa iyong mga cellphone, Facebook o YouTube man ang Millennial Online TV. Dahil nasa Millennial Online TV na ang online realista ng bagong milenyo, si Randall Villanos.
Sana'y di magmahil ang dati kong araw nang di pang bata sa piling ni nanay. Nais kong mauli ang awit ninang mahal. You are the one who makes me happy when everything else turns to gray. Walk on through the rain. Walk on through the rain. Though your dreams be tossed and low. Walk on with hope in your heart.
At haharanahin kayo ni Randall ng iba't ibang awitin para maibsan ang inyong inip at kalungkutan kahit nasaan man kayo.
Hanggang sa tumanda. Come on. Matanda na, sana'y di tayo magbago.
At pwede rin kayong makiduwit kay Randall tuwing Huwebes ng hapon. Ano pa hinihintay nyo mga kamilenyo? Tawag na!
Araw-araw ikaw ang gusto kong
Ayun, no? Magandang gabi po, Pilipinas! Ang oras sa hudyat, alas 6:34 po ng gabi, Philippine Standard Time. At sasangin na po ang programang Tropa. At ngayon po ay ika-3 na po ng buwan ng Oktubre, taong 2023. At syempre po ako pa rin ang magiging kasama, ka-jamming, kakosa, ROCEL LOPEZ. At nako papansin nyo po nag-uulan, ano? Nandiyan pa ho si Bagyong Jenny. Ang pagkakalam ko ay sa Biyernes po ang layas, no? Ang alis dito sa ating bansa. O dito sa ating PAR o Philippine Area of Responsibility. Alamin natin yan mamaya doon po sa PagAsa, no? Doon po sa ating katropa na isa po sa weather specialist po ng DOST PagAsa na si weather specialist Loridin de la Cruz, Galicia. Mamaya lang po yan, abangan po natin. At siyempre po kayong din yung ginawang World Peace Summit ng HWPL, no? At mamaya alamin din natin yan, no, sa kanilang ginawang World Peace Summit, no, para malaman natin, para naman updated tayo. Alam niyo maganda po ito itong World Peace, no, na sinusulong po ng HWPL. Na dapat naman po na mangyari hindi lamang po dito sa ating bansa kundi buong mundo, di ba?
dapat po magkaisa, magkatulong-tulong, at wala pong inggitan, walang alitan, dapat ganun po talaga, no? Mamaya alamin po natin yan, no? Kung ano ang nangyari doon po sa kanilang sinasabing World Summit, no? World Peace Summit, yan, mamaya alamin natin yan. Okay mga kaibigan, na 6:36 na po ng gabi, oras sa buong kapuluan. At tuloy-tuloy tayo sa ating programang Tropa. At siyempre magandang gabi rin sa ating mga taga-subaybay, sa ating mga Tropa Peeps, no? Sa ating mga nanonood ngayon, abay magandang gabi po sa inyo, no? At siyempre tutok po kayo. Siyempre magandang gabi rin po sa One Gun Pilipinas, no? Sa pangunguna nito pong si Corixman. Magandang gabi sa iyo, Corixman. At siyempre, magandang gabi rin. So, nakita natin naka-viewing si Kuya Rick Tabi. Magandang gabi sa iyo, Kuya Rick. Welcome sa programang Tropa. At sa lahat po ng miyembro at kasapi ng One Gun Pilipinas, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Mag-isa Bulacan Chapter. At sa lahat po ng chapter, Davao, Cotabato, Cavite, Rizal, lahat po, magandang gabi sa inyo. At take note po, meron pong inaresto ang PNP. Ako, bay gumagawa po ng mga baril at nagbebenta dyan po sa may, kung di ako nagkakamali, Marikina. Ako, naaresto po. Ay, inaalam po kung sino nasa likod, sino nagpopondo. At ang mga kumukuha, mga kaibigan, ay daw di umanong mga taong labas, no? Mga rebelde. Siyempre kasama na yung mga terorista yan. At meron din po bumibili ng mga miyembro ng PNP at sundalo. Nako, malalaman natin, alam niyo, masama yan masama po yung ginagawang pagbebenta ng baril, lalo na pag illegal. Sabihin walang lisensya, hindi accredited ng PNP, di ba? So illegal ho yun. Ewan ko bakit may gano'n. Pero alam nyo, ang lalakas ng kalibreng nakita ron. Minsan, hahanapin natin, kukunin natin yung video para makita nyo. Okay, alas 6:38 na po ng gabi. Okay, at huwag na natin patagalin mga kaibigan. Alamin na natin po sa DOST PagAsa, no? Ang lagay ng ating panahon, no? Para malaman po natin si Jenny nasa na ba. Baka mamaya nandyan lang sa tabi-tabi, si Jenny. So, buti pa, alamin natin sa ating mga katropa o sa katropa natin sa DOST PagAsa. Narito po.
Magandang hapon sa ating mga kababayan. Narito ang latest mula dito sa PagAsa Forecasting Center. Napanatili ni Bagyong Jenny ang kanyang lakas. Ngayon po ay taglay nito ang maximum sustained winds na 155 km per hour near the center at gustiness sa pagbugso ng hangin umaabot po sa 190 km per hour. At base sa ating analysis kanina, as of 4 p.m. huling namataan ng kanyang mata sa layong 325 km, silangan po yan ng Itbayat, Batanes. At ang kanyang movement, mabagal pa rin ho ito ngayon, moving north-northwest o hilagang kanluran at 10 kilometers per hour. Kaugnay dyan, ang signal number 2 nakataas pa rin ngayon sa probinsya ng Batanes, habang ang signal number 1 naman ay nakataas pa rin sa Cagayan, kasama na ang Babuyan Islands, northern and eastern portions ng Isabela, sa Apayao, northeastern portion ng Abra at maging sa northern portion ng Kalinga at sa Ilocos Norte. Uulitin po natin, signal number 2 po sa Batanes, habang signal number 1 sa Cagayan, kasama ang Babuyan Islands, northern and eastern portions ng Isabela, Apayao, northeastern portion ng Abra, northern portion ng Kalinga at maging sa Ilocos Norte. Sa mga nabanggit nating lugar, doble ingat ang ating abiso, lalong-lalo na sa ating mga kababayan doon dahil sila po ang makakaramdam ng impact o direktang epekto nitong bagyong si Jenny doon po sa mga lugar na ito. So as much as possible, we're hoping na by this time ay prepared na po. They already have taken shelter sa mga matitibay na estruktura, kaya na may mga matitibay na bahay, nakaiwas na po sa coastal areas. Samantala, bukod po dito kay Bagyong Jenny ay may southwest monsoon o habagat pa po itayong minomonitor. At itong southwest monsoon, ito po ang nakakaapekto dito po sa natitirang bahagi ng Luzon at maging sa Western Visayas. Yan ho yung nagdudulot ng pagulan, maulap na kalangitan at mga pagulan sa malaking bahagi ng Luzon at ng Visayas. Sa ngayon, maliban po dito sa trough ni Jenny. At kung makikita nga po natin, yung trough o buntot ni Jenny, nakakaapekto din po yan sa natitirang bahagi ng Northern Luzon such as Ilocos Region, the rest of Cagayan Valley, at maging sa Cordillera Administrative Region. Yung southwest monsoon o habagat na na-enhance ni Bagyong Jenny ay nagdudulot ng mga pagulan, especially dito sa Zambales, Bataan, sa natitirang bahagi pa ng Central Luzon, dito sa Metro Manila ay maulap din at may high chance of rains. At dito po sa natitirang bahagi pa ng Mimaropa Region at maging sa natitirang bahagi ng Southern Luzon sa Bicol Region. Ang Western Visayas ay maulap din po at may chance rin ng mga light to moderate rains. At base po sa track na pinalabas ng PagAsa, in the next 24 hours, sinaasahan natin na ang mata nito ay nasa layo na po ng 200 kilometers northeast ng Itbayat, Batanes. Pagdating naman ng 48 hours, inaasahan po natin na malapit ng lumabas ito ng ating area of responsibility. Nasa layo na po ng 290 kilometers northeast of Itbayat, Batanes. Then in the next 72 hours, inaasahan natin na ang mata o sentro nitong bagyo ay nasa layo na po ng 475 kilometers west-northwest or west-northeast ng Itbayat, Batanes, o kaya na may nasa labas na po ng ating area of responsibility. Then, by 96 hours, inaasahan natin na tuluyan na po itong lalayo ng ating PAR and approximately nasa layong 600 kilometers west-northeast ng Itbayat, Batanes na po itong si Bagyong Jenny. Para naman sa heavy rainfall forecast po natin, inaasahan po natin na dahil sa Bagyong Jenny, yung 50 to 100 millimeters of rainfall ay posible po sa Batanes at Babuyan Islands. Gayun din, tomorrow noon hanggang Thursday noon, posible ang 50 to 100 millimeters of rains sa Babuyan Islands at northern portion ng Ilocos Norte. Yung heavy rains po, 100 to 200 millimeters, ay posible sa Batanes. Then, yung southwest monsoon o yung habagat, posible pa rin po yan magdulot ng mga pag-ulan dito po sa Zambales, Bataan, Occidental Mindoro, Antique, northern portion ng Palawan, kasama na ang Calamian, Cuyo at Calayan Islands, Zambales, Bataan, Pampanga, Bulacan, Metro Manila, Cavite, Batangas, Occidental Mindoro at Calamian at Cuyo Islands by tomorrow or by Thursday po ito. By Wednesday, and then by Thursday, sa La Union, Pangasinan, Benguet, Zambales, Bataan, Tarlac, Pampanga, Bulacan, Metro Manila, Cavite, Batangas, at sa Occidental Mindoro. Asahan din natin dahil sa southwest monsoon o habagat, posible ang gusty conditions sa Aurora, sa Bataan, Bulacan, Metro Manila, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, Bicol Region, Western Visayas, and by tomorrow, sa Metro Manila, Bataan, southern portion ng Aurora, Calabarzon, Romblon, and most parts of Bicol Region. Then by Thursday, inaasahan natin, posible rin ang gusty conditions dito po sa Romblon, portions ng Calabarzon at Bicol Region. Then again, nakataas ang ating gale warning ngayon sa malaking bahagi ho ng Northern Luzon, partikular po sa Batanes, Cagayan kasama ng Babuyan Islands, sa Isabela maging sa Ilocos Norte. Kaya't sa nabanggit nating lugar, hindi pa rin hope inaalaw na pumalaot ang maliliit na sasakyang pandagat dahil magiging maalon hanggang sa napakaalon po ng kondisyon ng karagatan doon. Yan ang latest mula sa PagAsa. Magandang hapon po.
Maraming salamat kay Weather Specialist Loridin de la Cruz, Galicia. At agatid po yan sa atin sa oras na alas 6:45 po ng gabi, oras sa buong kapuluan. At ayan, basta tayo mga kaibigan, mga katropa, huwag pong makakalimot na magdala ng mga pananggalang sa ulan tulad ng payong, jacket, no, kapote. Lalo na sa ating mga motorcycle riders. At yun namang mga may sasakyan na 4 wheels, ganun pa rin. Kinakailangan may payong pa rin kayo dahil pagbaba nyo sa inyong bababaan, kailangan hindi kayo mabasa ng ulan. Okay, magandang gabi kay Kuya Guillermo Pangatungan, kay Kuya Gimo ng Lapu-Lapu City dyan sa Cebu. Sabi niya, watching Idol ROCEL LOPEZ. Magandang gabi sa iyo, Idol. Magandang gabi. Maganda ka pa sa gabi, Idol Gimo. At kumusta dyan si Mayor, no? At si Congressman Chua ba? Tama ba? At si Ma'am Rica Feliciano ng HWPL. At tayo mga kaibigan, tulad nga sinabi natin sa inyo, abay alamin natin. Alam nyo, sa totoo lang, dapat ho talaga, hindi lamang sa bansang Pilipinas at sa mga tao, no? Hindi lamang sa sambayan ng Pilipino, dapat po magkaroon tayo ng pagkakaisa ng kapayapaan, no? Tulad niya, meron pong nabalita nagkaroon ng gera sa pagitan ng Ukraine at Russia. Dapat to nagkakasundo talaga ang mga bansa. Sana pero although nandyan po sa hula, nasa propesiya na nakalagay sa Bible na magkakaroon ng bansa laban sa bansa, sana ho mabali muna yon. Although yun po ang hula ng ating Panginoon Diyos, pero sana mabali, no? Maging mabago sana dahil po kinakailangan ng kapayapaan sa buong mundo. Kaya kailangan nga magkaisa po lahat. Siyempre lahat naman po yan kung sakali na pag-uusapan. Tulad ho ngayon, yung West Philippines natin, parang pinagbabawalan pa ang mga Pilipinong mangisda doon sa ating teritoryo na samantalang atin yung lugar na yun. So yun dapat makuha sa magandang pag-uusap sa pagitan po ng presidente ng China at ng bansang Pilipinas para naman hindi magkaroon ng marahas na kahihinatnan itong mga nangyayari na ito. Okay, so mga kaibigan, alas 6:47 na ng gabi. Buti pa wag na nating patagalin po ang mga katropa, no? Buti pa tunghayin na natin yung pong ginawang World Peace Summit na pinangunahan po ng HWPL na kung saan po ang pagkakalam po ginawa po ito sa bansang Korea, no? At alamin natin, nandoon ang mga nag-speech, mga nagsalita, iba't ibang leader, sekta, no, about dito sa world peace na ito, no? Ika ngayon naman kailangan talaga. So, kung natin patagalin mga kaibigan, narito po at pakinggan natin at panoorin.
안녕하십니까? PYG 정영민입니다. 오늘은 9.18 평화 만국회의 9주년이 되는 날입니다. 그래서 지금까지 저희가 9년간 걸어온 발자취를 같이 돌이켜보고 특히 청년들의 평화 활동에 대해서 이야기해보고 앞으로 나아가야 할 방향과 대해서 말씀드리도록 합니다. HWPL은 전쟁 종식 세계 평화를 추구합니다. 전쟁 종식 세계 평화란 분쟁과 갈등을 해결하고 평화를 구축하고 평화를 유지해 세계 평화를 실현하는 것을 의미합니다. 그러하기에 이 목표는 한 계층, 한 국가만의 일이 아니라 우리 모두가 다 함께 해야 굴러갈 수 있는 공입니다. 그래서 HWPL은 국가 시작해 정부 관계자, 교육계, 법조계, 국제기구, 여성, 청년, 종교 지도자, 언론, 시민사회 계층 할 것 없이 모두가 다 함께 동참하고 있는 평화단체입니다. 이것은 HWPL만의 특징입니다. 어떻게 보면 이 목표는 굉장히 거대해 보입니다. 하지만 이 목표는 9년 전 오늘 이 대표님께서 하신 2가지 약속으로부터 시작해 하나씩 실현되어 가고 있습니다. 잠시 후 경과 보고에서 자세히 들으시겠지만 핵심만 말씀을 드리면 9년 전 오늘 두 가지 약속이 있었습니다. 먼저는 새로운 국제법을 제정할 것이었고, 두 번째는 종교 간의 대화합을 만들어내는 것이었습니다. 새로운 국제법은 2016년 DPCW 10조 38항으로 그
The 10 articles and 38 clauses of the DPCW were proclaimed,
종교 간의 대화합은
and regarding religious harmony, it's being fulfilled through the advancement of the World Alliance of Religions Peace Office throughout the world.
두 가지 약속은 거기서 멈추지 않고
And the two promises didn't stop there. It is still going on.
DPCW를 UN 총회 결의안으로
And we hope to introduce the DPCW to the United Nations.
종교 간의 대화합은
And regarding religious harmony,
더 깊은 대화와
we are
확보하기 위해
we are pursuing deeper dialogue with the religious leaders through the Religious Peace Academy.
제가 여기에서 꼭 말씀드리고 싶은 것은
There is another point I would like to emphasize in this gathering.
그리고
In the 2014 World Peace Summit, along with those two promises, another resolution was made. It was the appeal of the International Peace Youth Group, where the youth come together as one,
청년의 힘으로
and with that power of youth, they pledge to urge for peace and work together for this cause.
그리고 9년간
And for the past 9 years, starting with that appeal, we have been working for this purpose. And here, at the tonight's 2023 International Youth Peace Conference, youths from about 50 countries will discuss and present their plans for contributing to peace in their respective regions over the coming year.
그리고 이곳에는 50개국 이상의 청년들의 계획이
Young people of the 50 countries will discuss their plans.
어찌 보면 이 청년들은 굉장히 대담하고
These youth are passionate
말씀을 드리면 어떤 청년은
for peace. One youth is mediating between the government forces and the rebels who are constantly fighting each other and become a mediator of peace. Some youths have devised a plan to involve young people within their nation in a project to plant 1 billion trees responding to the national crisis caused by climate change. In another country, youths are actively implementing HWPL peace education in all local schools to secure their nation's future. Likewise, the passion and determination of these youths resonate deeply within us. And at the heart of this active global youth movement stands Chairman Lee. Having experienced the harsh realities of war as a Korean War veteran, Chairman Lee has dedicated himself to peace under the banner of rescuing youth from war. And following that mindset, the young people are doing and working for peace. The IPYG has made many developments, and now it has become a network of over 1,000 youth organizations across 119 countries. These kind of efforts will not stop, but it will continue on. Lastly, I want to say something to all of you here. For the past 9 years, we have worked together for this immense goal of peace. And to realize that goal, what we need is two things. First, it's perseverance and it's collaboration. As you've heard, peace and cessation of war is an immense wheel of peace. And to roll that wheel, it takes not just one person, but it takes all of us. And if any of us stand behind, then it will not go forward. So HWPL's work of peace that started from two promises, it requires perseverance and collaboration. All global family of peace, and especially the members of the IPYG, we are the heroes of this world of peace that we are shaping. We are the ones who will create this world of peace. We are the ones who will experience the benefits of this peaceful world. And we are the ones who will safeguard this world to pass on to future generations. We should have the sense of responsibility, and it might be difficult, but if we work together as one, then we can do this. As we've done so far, if we work together for the coming year, then next year, which marks the 10th anniversary, we will all gather once again with even more visible outcomes and spread this message of hope to the whole world. If we work together with one heart, we can do it. We are one. Thank you so much.
Greetings, global peace leaders. I am Yoon Hyun-suk, chairwoman of IWPG. As I see everyone here today, it reminds me of the moment when peace leaders from all over the world gathered in 2014 to sign the agreement to propose for the establishment of international law for cessation of war and world peace. I would like to welcome all the distinguished guests who have safely overcome the difficult pandemic crisis and attended this meaningful event that was arranged for sustainable peace. To accomplish humanity's common goal, world peace, IWPG has engaged in various activities to bring awareness of the 10 articles and 38 clauses of the Declaration of Peace and Cessation of War, DPCW, proclaimed by HWPL in 2016, to women across the world. The 10 articles and 38 clauses of DPCW is the basis for women to grow into peaceful citizens, and it is an important instrument for expanding the influence peace that starts from oneself to the home, society, and nation. This is possible because HWPL Chairman Lee and the International Law Peace Committee, who are working passionately to accomplish the promise made in 2014, along with the HWPL Peace Workers' dedication. Furthermore, this is possible because of the participation and support of the peace leaders who are here today. The greatest support in developing a sustainable peace system is achieving the goals and commitments that HWPL and Chairman Lee set so far. In other words, it is by showing through our actions rather than just words. This support is the motivation behind fulfilling IWPG's role of being HWPL's wing, and it is the basis for peace activities done by women around the world. Based on HWPL's spirit of realizing peace, IWPG is carrying out various peace projects to help women who make up half of humanity and are very important members of society to become the main character in realizing peace and the recipients of it. IWPG is currently focusing on Peace Lectures Training Education, PLTE, to implement SDGs, which are common goals in the international society, and to form and spread a culture of peace emphasized in Article 10 of DPCW. So far, this was disseminated to 80,000 people in 74 countries, and more than 2,000 peace lecturers have been trained and are actively teaching. PLTE is an education that is not only for one individual to realize the value of peace, but it teaches the role of realizing peace in the international society. It teaches women how to protect themselves from war and violence and how to spread peace in their environment and homes. Moreover, various strategic cultural approaches are being made to form a culture of peace in the society. The International Loving Peace Art Competition, which marked its 5th anniversary this year, allows children and teenagers to keep the value of peace in mind and grow as the ones who can realize peace. There were more than 10,000 students from 117 cities in 61 countries who participated in this year's competition. This became a time where children suffering from war received hope and courage for the realization of peace. In 2022, IWPG's noteworthy news was the erection of IWPG's Peace Activity Monument in Davao de Oro of Mindanao, Philippines, where the long-term conflicts were mediated by HWPL. This was the first IWPG's Peace Activity Monument, which was erected to honor the spirit of peace and promote the peace activities being done by women who reside there. Since then, women from Mongolia were impressed by the monument in the Philippines, so they erected a second peace activity monument in Mongolia and has been working actively. In this way, peace projects based on the values presented by the DPCW are making remarkable achievements. Everyone, peace is essential for the world. However, this is not possible with just one person. It can only be accomplished with the joint efforts of all humanity. For this, DPCW is prohibiting the production and distribution of weapons, preventing aggression, as well as prevents disputes derived from discriminations to spreading into wars between people, and prevent using them for political affairs. Furthermore, we are uniting people and producing results through practical cooperation to realize the peace we dreamed of. This declaration that realizes peace, which humanity desires, is truly a groundbreaking gift from heaven to the people in the world. I salute your insights, passion, and courage for recognizing and supporting this groundbreaking gift from heaven. I am aware that for the 9th anniversary of the September 18th HWPL World Peace Summit, there will be different sessions for the peace leaders who are actively engaging in peace activities in their respective countries to participate and have lively discussions. From these sessions, what I find most special is the Peace Discussion Forum for various religious leaders who will be transcending their ideologies and beliefs to discuss peace. Chairman Lee, who invited many religious leaders as peace leaders, is also a religious leader who represents a religious organization. When you listen attentively to Chairman Lee's words, his wisdom is remarkable, and you realize the direction that humanity should be heading and the role of each person. Chairman Lee, who works according to what heaven has shown and told him, said the role of everyone in this summit is huge. After the event, I hope everyone has Chairman Lee's wisdom from heaven and an image of his passion and wholeheartedness to fulfill the promise in your heart, so that you will return to your country with a great light of peace. Lastly, I want to express my deepest gratitude and utmost respect to Chairman Man-hee Lee, who is at the center of all the successful results of peace today, and to HWPL and DPCW as well. Many people have been able to work with one goal of peace over the past decade because of Chairman Lee, who is always leading the way for peace in the world despite his age. Political, religious community leaders and the family of peace will now light up the spark of peace that began with Chairman. I'd like to congratulate the 9th anniversary of the September 18th HWPL World Peace Summit, and we are one in peace. We are one. Thank you very much.
To all the family members of peace, hello, I am Kang Tae-ho, Managing Director of Heavenly Culture, World Peace, Restoration of Light. In the midst of numerous conflicts and crises happening around the world, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all those who have gathered here from various countries with a common goal of achieving peace. I will now give a progress report of HWPL to celebrate the 9th anniversary of the September 18th HWPL World Peace Summit. HWPL is an international peace organization associated with the UN Economic and Social Council and the UN Department of Global Communications. Working as the two wings of HWPL, the International Peace Youth Group and the International Women's Peace Group are carrying out global peace activities with leaders from various fields and the global civil society. On January 24, 2014, HWPL Chairman Man-hee Lee visited local political and religious leaders in Mindanao, Philippines, and mediated a peace agreement at a civilian level. Mindanao is a region where an extremely intense religious and socio-political conflict occurred, which has killed about 120,000 people and displaced millions over 40 years. After the Mindanao Peace Agreement, mediated by HWPL, was signed by the representatives, leaders and citizens in the Philippines, including those in Mindanao, have embarked on the path of peace and cooperation alongside HWPL. On the day the Mindanao Peace Agreement was signed, the 24th of January was designated as HWPL Day to commemorate peace with citizen-led peace walks and various events being held annually. Especially on January 24th this year in Mindanao, a grand peace music concert was held, which was previously unimaginable due to conflicts. Many citizens had the opportunity to enjoy the culture of peace during this event. Furthermore, HWPL has signed an MOA with the Commission on Higher Education of the Philippines and MOAs and MOUs with the Departments of Education in 3 cities and 77 schools for the implementation of HWPL peace education. As a result, 644 peace educators have been trained in the Philippines, and approximately 20,000 students have received peace education. Additionally, 32 peace libraries have been established within universities, serving as educational hubs for peace-related initiatives. On September 18, 2014, HWPL hosted the September 18th World Peace Summit in Seoul, South Korea, inviting leaders from various fields and citizens from around the world. The World Peace Summit was attended by over 4,000 leaders from 170 countries and more than 200,000 citizens, making it the largest international event ever organized by a civil society organization. At the main conference of this event, 3 important agreements were signed, aiming for the coexistence and mutual prosperity of humanity: the cessation of war and the realization of peace. The first one was the agreement to propose the enactment of international law for the cessation of wars and world peace, which was signed by former heads of state and leading figures. The second was the World Alliance of Religions Agreement, which was signed by religious leaders in different religious denominations. Lastly, the leaders of various organizations pledged to urge for these promises to be fulfilled. HWPL has tirelessly worked alongside the global family of peace to ensure that these agreements do not remain mere promises but are actually implemented. In a short span of time, we have achieved many meaningful accomplishments. To implement the agreements made in 2014, HWPL established the HWPL International Law Peace Committee, comprised of eminent international legal experts during the first annual commemoration of the World Peace Summit held in 2015. Together with Chairman Lee, the ILPC drafted the Declaration of Peace and Cessation of War, containing practical peace-building measures for all levels of society worldwide. This declaration, consisting of 10 articles and 38 clauses, was proclaimed to the world on March 14, 2016. Since the proclamation of the DPCW, numerous countries, including the Pan-African Parliament representing 55 member states of the African Union, as well as the Central American Parliament, have officially declared their support for the DPCW. The DPCW has gained significant attention as a practical means to achieve peace, with around 900,000 in support from civil society organizations in 176 countries. Based on this support, HWPL plans to introduce the DPCW to the United Nations National General Assembly for the implementation of international law for peace. Chairman Lee and the Messengers of Peace have embarked on a total of 32 visits to various countries around the globe with the aim of establishing a global solidarity for peace. Distinguished figures and organizations from these countries recognize the necessity of peace solidarity through their interactions with HWPL and decided to collaborate with HWPL in its endeavors. As a result, HWPL has appointed 187 Peace Advisory Council members and 632 publicity ambassadors. Also, HWPL signed MOAs and MOUs with 453 organizations around the world. The World Alliance of Religions Peace Office is the first step towards realizing the Religious Unity Agreement. HWPL operates these WARP offices in 282 locations across 131 countries to resolve interfaith conflicts, which is one of the main causes of war, and enhance cooperation. Starting from 2023, HWPL has taken a further step by launching the HWPL International Religious Peace Academy, a program in which religious leaders delve deeper into the teachings of other religions. In the academy, prominent leaders from various religions serve as lecturers, offering teachings based on their respective religious scriptures. In the first program held this year, 1,388 religious leaders from 21 different religions and 108 countries participated. The International Religious Peace Academy greatly contributes to religious reconciliation and peace by enabling religious leaders to gain a profound understanding of other religions. To instill the absolute value of peace in humanity and leave peace as a lasting legacy for future generations, HWPL conducts peace education. HWPL has developed peace education curricula and textbooks, supplying them to 93 countries. Additionally, HWPL has signed MOAs with education ministries and higher education institutes in 12 countries, including the Philippines, Guatemala, Sri Lanka, and more, and have signed MOUs with 385 educational institutions in 52 countries. We are continuously training peace educators to specialize in peace education, and to date, 1,555 educators have been officially appointed in 51 countries. The International Peace Youth Group, an organization under HWPL, is the world's largest youth peace organization with over 1,000 affiliated organizations in 119 countries. Under the slogan, "Youth Must Act for the World to Change," the IPYG operates a youth engagement and peace-building working group that are open for participation by anyone in various regions around the world. Over the past year, the Youth Engagement and Peace-Building Working Groups have conducted a global peace letter campaign urging leaders from various countries to cease the use of force in response to the numerous wars and conflicts that have occurred worldwide and to protect the lives of innocent civilians. The media, working in collaboration with HWPL, actively covers news related to global peace activities. The Peace Media Network has reported a total of 8,050 articles through 3,240 media outlets in 190 countries about the peace initiatives conducted worldwide in the year 2023. Additionally, to raise global awareness for peace, research on peace journalism based on experiences and expertise of journalists have begun to be published. Since its foundation, HWPL has tirelessly worked to create a world of freedom and peace. Such endeavors by HWPL have been made possible by the dedication and sacrifices of all of you, the peace-loving families who are committed to peace. In particular, this commemorative event holds even greater significance as it has overcome the immense challenge of the pandemic and is being held as an offline gathering. Esteemed messengers of peace, there are many who desire freedom and peace, but there are few who take action to achieve it. What we are doing right now is something that is absolutely necessary for ourselves and for future generations. Let us move forward together without wavering and strive to achieve a world of peace. Once again, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all the peace-loving families who have joined us at the historic 9th anniversary celebration of the September 18th HWPL World Peace Summit today. With this, I conclude the presentation of the progress report. Thank you.
Thank you.
평화가족 여러분들 안녕하십니까? 반갑습니다. 저는 HWPL 대표 이만희입니다. 오늘 세계 평화 강국
Heavenly Culture World Peace to celebrate the 9th anniversary in one location. We have come together for this good time of commemorating this event. I'd like to introduce myself briefly. I am for the work of peace. I have traveled around the world 32 times. Not just that, the reason why I started out this work of peace was because of the Korean War, and I fought in the front lines of the Korean War. I cannot express in words the atrocity that I witnessed during that war. If I were to mention one thing, we had to become enemies with our own fellow brothers, and in the mountains and in the fields, we fought. And I could see the cannons flying from the enemy side. And there's also cannons coming from our side as well. The cannons were hundreds of cannons poured out on both sides. And do you think that a single blade of grass would be able to survive during that kind of situation? In that kind of war, as I survived that kind of war, I looked at heaven, and for allowing me to live and not die, I wanted to give a prayer of thanks. And every night in the fields, I offered a prayer. And how atrocious wars are, we would come to know this. A lot of youth who weren't able to bloom as adults, they are dragged to the valley of death and suffer death. This is war. And so as I traveled around the world and met leaders from various countries, in order to achieve peace together, I asked them, I urged them. Because I had that kind of experience, if I had died at that time, I would not be able to do this kind of work. And so, every nation that I went to the leaders, I urged them. And the people that I asked at that time, a lot of people are gathered here today. Because I have this kind of experience, what is it that we need to do today? What is it that we need to leave for the future generations? It would be a world without peace, without wars. And this is why I started out the work of peace. So, everyone, we are for the future generations. In order to leave peace as a legacy, we need to unite, and so that peace would be achieved completely in this world, I hope we can make an effort together.
이 사람은
What kind of heart do I have? That atrocious war, if I had died, I wouldn't exist right now. With that kind of thought, the remaining life, I had a resolution to work for peace, and that's why I traveled around the world, and that's why I proclaimed it. If I wanted to say a few more things, there's a place called Gosong. There is a peace institute that's been established, and if you go there, you can see a lot of images of many people, presidents of various nations. Furthermore, people who are former presidents, their photographs are all placed there, and these are all people that I visited and received signatures to do the work of peace together. Those are the photographs that are hanging on the wall. And there are many books and pamphlets that are also there as well. The point is, peace has to be achieved all throughout the world. It could be easy and it could also be difficult. If we just did it, it would be possible. For the lot of the youth who died without becoming full-blown adults, why would they have to do that? The leaders and politicians must be aware of this. When we say war, that they would only cause more wars. The result of wars is more wars. So, we must end wars, and now we must achieve peace, and eternally, we have to be able to, we have to give to the future generations is what we need to do today. That's really our appointed task. It's our duty. If wars take place, it's not just one or two people that die and comes to an end. And it's the youth too. So many people have to die. So this kind of event should never take place again. While we are living, the work that we need to do is this kind of work. There is no greater work than this. This is what we need to do. That's what I think. Truly, in war, I saw so many atrocious things. You cannot express it in words. So, the work that we must do is to achieve peace and leave it as a legacy for the future generations. We cannot do this if we're dead. We have to do this while we're alive. That's what I thought, and that's what I resolved. It's easy to speak, but to go around the world again and again and again. And as I went around the world, this is what I proclaimed. Now we have to put words into action. Instead of saying, I love you, with words, even if you say it 1,000 times, 10,000 times, what value is it? It's better to put it into action once. And that's why I desire to create a better world, and I'm sure that the future generations are waiting for a better world. If God comes, if the world doesn't end wars, of what value is there? But this world, the people of the world must do the work for this world. A world where there is no war and peace is achieved. This is what must take place. For the work of peace, as I went around the world, where did I go? I went to Romania. And the person I met there is here today. It's President Emil. At that time, President, he already gathered students and was already doing the work of peace at that time. So I was so happy. And as I worked together with him, we also did the work of peace together. So always, whenever I do this work, no matter where I go, I think about the President of Romania. Just like this, from many nations, as you are born into this world, for the future generations, We want to leave a world of peace. And that's why I'm asking you to do the work of peace. Together, all of us. I believe that this is what we should do. I've become old. I don't have a lot of strength. But with this thought, for this work of peace, I'm not forgetting this work of peace. Wherever I go, whatever I do, whatever I write down and record, this peace I don't forget. So, for a better world, how can we leave it for the future generations? Why? Because as we live in this world, as we see the atrocities of war, and because I personally experienced it, I know it so well. And if you go there, young youth, and furthermore, students, there might be a reason for war, but they're doing things that shouldn't have taken place, and things that are being at that place of war. The ones that have experienced that atrocity would know. So, a world where there is no wars, a world of peace, we must achieve it. So, Heavenly Culture, World Peace, Restoration of Light. With this title, I carried out the work of peace. Shouldn't we do this? And that is really the work that we must do. At times, I went to the UN National Cemetery, and I also carried out the work of peace there too. The ones that are lying down here in this cemetery, I also fought with the youth in the war. I said that, and I went to the UN National Cemetery, and I gave a speech at that time, at that place. Why did I do that? Because they fought with me, and I know how they died, because I witnessed how they died. So a world where there are no wars, whether it be in the household, whether it be in the school, whether it be in the society, we have to have a mindset to establish peace so that that kind of war will never take place again. Whether it be science or whether it be weapons, it could easily destroy this world. So in order to prevent wars, in order to hinder wars, we need a special international law. That's why the experts in the field of international law, with the International Law Council, they created the 10 articles and 38 clauses, and if you submit it to the United Nations, we have to be able to send it to them and see what they will do, and we will submit it. Instead of talking about it with speech, really weapons must be come to an end. What's the point of being able to arguing about those things? If one side causes a war, if another side, do you think that they will retaliate? And what's going to happen if they use those weapons and a lot of people die? Then there will be another world war and the world will be destroyed. So this kind of war shouldn't take place. And if we don't want to have wars, those weapons have to disappear in the first place. Isn't that right? And it's not something that other people have to do. It's the work that we must do today. I believe that. Instead of saying, I love you, that love, more than saying it, to put it into action, all those weapons have to disappear. And in order to do that, the international law, the 38 clauses and the 10 articles, it records this aspect about getting rid of weapons. You don't need to say it in terms of words. Why do these wars have to take place? We shouldn't actually have wars. So, the international law that the International Council made, through this, we have to make it so that wars cannot take place anymore, that we submit it to the UN and receive the okay from the United Nations, and create a world where there is no more wars, but a world of peace. We can do that together, right? Isn't that right? This is what we must do. Instead of just saying it with words, we need to put it into action. We need to put it into action. I've also registered into the United Nations for this work. What's the point of just registering? We have to make it a place where there is a world of peace. We have to create a world of peace and leave it as a legacy for the future generations. This is what we must do, and that's what I think. And we will do it. Together, we will do this work of peace and we'll create a world of peace. For this work, I've gone around the world again and again, and because of the COVID, I wasn't able to step out for a while. But recently, it has calmed down. The COVID has calmed down. So with time, I will go around the world, and what we need to do again is, why do we need to go around the world again and again? It's so that the 10 articles and 38 clauses, in order for it to be accepted by the United Nations, each nation has to support it and endorse it. That's why we visit the nations and make it known to them so that the 10 articles and the 38 clauses, so that it will be accepted by the UN. Please support this international law. And to the leaders and the people who weren't able to participate in the summit, please notify to them about the 10 articles and the 38 clauses, and that they will also be able to support this international law. You can do that, right? You can encourage others as well to support this. The work of peace that we do, it will become a really good work. I've also received a lot of help and support from President Emil. Let us all together become messengers of peace, and whether it be in the household or in the school, we must become messengers of peace so that wars can come to an end. Let's do it together. Now, I've become so old, and I'm old in years. I don't know how many more years I will live in this world. It says, heaven is in charge of one person's life. There's another saying, one's life is in the hands of heaven. If heaven says come, then I gotta go. But I want to see a world of peace before I go. Isn't that right? If we've started this work, we have to see the world of peace. How are we going to see it? We have to, the law that was drafted, once it's accepted by the United Nations, it's the same as peace being accomplished. So I believe that peace would be accomplished. Everyone, Let's definitely do this work together and make sure that this work becomes a reality. Instead of just saying it with words, with our lips, those weapons, instead of just saying peace, peace, you can't say that if you have the weapons still. The weapons have to come to an end. Then we can live in safety in this world. If both two nations have weapons, they're not going to just leave the weapons alone and raise their hands. We have to get rid of those weapons. And the whole world must become a family of peace. Let's all work together for that. What I really want to say is that let's all become family members of peace, and the peace that we all desire, may it become a reality. I hope that we can work together so that it becomes a reality. Instead of saying 1,000 times, 10,000 times, peace will be accomplished. That's why we are doing this work. Because the international law, by the International Law Council, the 10 articles and 38 clauses, because that was drafted, I hope that everyone will be able to support this law. And I will finish speaking here. Thank you very much.
Honorable Chairman Manchili, distinguished guests, dear friends, I am delighted that we have been together again on another anniversary of the HWPL World Peace Summit. I would like to take this opportunity to look back on the most important moments of my collaboration with our Korean partners, and in particular, highlight what I have learned from these collaborations. 9 years ago, in July 2014, on the occasion of UNESCO Peace Conference in Paris, the chairman, Manchili, invited me as president of Berlin Academy of Cultural Diplomacy to lend my signature to invitation to political and religious leaders to participate in the signing of the agreement to propose the enactment of international law for the cessation of wars and world peace and the World Alliance of Religious Agreement. I saw this initiative as a welcome practical demonstration of the potential of cultural diplomacy. From my own experience, I knew just how important understanding between religious leaders is. In 1998, I organized a major ecumenical conference in Bucharest titled Peace is the Name of the God, which was attended by many leading representatives of Christianity, Catholics, cardinals, Orthodox patriarchs, head of Protestant and Neo-Protestant denominations, as well as leaders of Islamic, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, and other Eastern religions. From the discussions at the times, I came to realize that those of strong faith can best understand the faith of others and persuade their followers to live together in peace. Arriving in Seoul, the impressive number of young people participating in the World Peace Walk made me realize just how strong their desire to live in peace was. I had the opportunity to speak to many of the 100,000 young people who took part in the Olympic Stadium rally on September 16th, seeing how different it was from the rallies of communist dictator Nicolae Ceausescu in my country organized in Bucharest for his own glorification in the vein of Kim Il-sung's model. Participants in the 2014 Seoul rally, hailing from Korea and from elsewhere in the world, did not act under either duress or threat, nor was it political fanaticism that drove them. It was their sincere desire to build a prosperous future from themselves in a democratic society. Because it is in the wars that young men are sent to fight and die, and it is the women as mothers, sisters, or daughters who are left to grieve their death. As you know, the HWPL is working closely with two wings, the youth and women's organization dedicated to promoting peace, whose rapid expansions worldwide has confirmed the validity of this initiative. Underdevelopment fosters civic and regional wars. I first visited South Korea in 1994 when Kim Dae-jung, who was then running for president of Korea, traveled to Bucharest in person to invite me to an international conference on economic and social development being organized in Seoul by the Asia-Pacific Democratic Leaders Forum. In my address at this conference, I argued that if people are just trying to survive from today to tomorrow, their ability to think and act freely is greatly limited. As long as you lack any security of life and are subject to abuse and deprivation, peace cannot resonate with you either politically or morally. Those of us who were born in Romania at the beginning of the Second World War, who has lived 14 years under Red Army occupation, have known displacement, bombing, famine, political persecution, deportation, crimes of the dictatorship regime, and isolation from the rest of the world. From this vantage, we understand our contemporaries in Korea very well. Like us Romanians, those from the other former communist countries of Eastern Europe have also come to admire the way Korea has managed to transform a nation with few precious mineral resources and agricultural land into a technologically advanced and prosperous country that only wants to live in peace. In 2018, when the Romanian people, with their millennia-long history, celebrated the centenary of the great union of our connationals from independent Romania, with those who had been forced to live under the rule of the Ottoman, Austrian, and Russian Empire, the Institute for Advanced Study in Levant Culture and Civilization, alongside the HWPL, organized in May the Solidarity of Empathy for Peace Conference in Bucharest, which was attended by former democratic president of Ukraine, Belarus, Croatia, Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and by the Deputy Prime Minister of the Russian Federation, who presented their extensive experience in the peaceful resolution of internal and interstate conflicts. This was doubtlessly an interesting experience for the large delegation of young Koreans, because even today, Romanians live as Koreans, divided into two neighboring countries. Fortunately, today, relations between Romania and Moldova, both democratic states, are of friendly cooperation. In September 2018, I returned to Seoul to attend the World Alliance of Religions Peace Summit. In my address at the time, I argued if until now the history of humanity has forever been the history of war, we now need to compose a history of peace. During the summit, we agreed that peace is not an abstract concept, but rather a supreme value of humanity that then can generate a calm environment in which people can live without the threat of violence, conflict, or psychological pressure. We agreed to work towards the implementation of concrete measures, both in the short, but above all in the long term, in order to fashion a new system of reference that replace attitudes of men against men with men alongside men, expressed in the motto we adopted in 2014, "We are one." Just as our hopes for world peace were gaining momentum, the Russian Federation unprovoked aggression against Ukraine, unleashed in February 2022, led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of young people and the injury of hundreds of thousands more. It has caused the extensive destruction of both material and immaterial assets, with both immediate and long-term consequences in causing a global food and energy crisis, as well as a huge involuntary migration of millions of refugees. Every single one of the human rights that the International Commission of Human Rights has pledged to protect have by now been violated, a development which threatens everything that has been built up by the existing world order predicated on the rule of law. The invasion's military, political, legal, economic, social, and ideological consequences are each in its own right so serious that taken together, they outline a their whole beyond which mankind is suddenly entering a new phase of its existence, one that may will lead it towards collapse. How can we explain this sudden and violent degradation of all that once seemed to have been achieved in the struggle for world peace? Have we made a mistake along the way? Have we not done enough? I do not believe that this is where the causes lie, but rather in the fact that we have not yet realized just how many conflicts there are in different parts of the world and how difficult it is to resolve them pacifically. In this light, I welcome the presence in Seoul of senior political figures from Africa, Asia, and South America, who, as was the case 9 years ago in 2014, can share their particular experience with us. However, above all else, we have not realized just how difficult it is to transform mentalities, to win both hearts and minds. We should have considered why the history of humanity has for millennia continued to be a history of war instead of history of peace, and why the consciousness of humanity, our greatest heroes, are Lord of War and not of Lord of Peace. Unfortunately, even economically developed countries with advanced democracies have problems with social violence. Children and teenagers are constantly assailed by the widespread propagation of violence through cinema, television, mass media, and social networks, providing a ripe environment for the orchestration of hatred. A culture of peace can only be achieved through an educational process that rejects violence, not only in the resolution of military, political, and economic disputes, but also as a way of attaining unanimously accepted values such as freedom, truth, and justice, from which a just peace cannot be separated. It is necessary to recall the lesson of recent history, where in Eastern Europe the solidarity of enormous masses of people around the idea of freedom, truth, and justice led to their realization in practical terms, but peaceful means. The culture of peace is not a short-term remedy. Instead, it is a lengthy journey from darkness into light, which can only be achieved through a complex and lengthy educational program that spans all the way from childhood to old age, applies to society as a whole, and is taken up as a personal ideal by as many people as possible. Over 7 decades ago, at the end of World War II, the preamble, the founding declaration of the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, warned us that since wars spring from the spirit of man, it is in the spirit of man that the foundation of peace must be laid. Here, we find a quote, the idea of Lao Tzu, who argued that in order for there to be peace between neighbors, harmony must first reign in the family. In order to have peace in the home, one must find in one's own heart. We find ourselves upon a crossroad where the Second Cold War has taken hold of the world. We find ourselves in the presence of the deadly regional war and under the threat of a nuclear cataclysm with global consequences. We found ourselves in a time when the escalation of military, political, ideological, economic, social, and cultural conflicts in different parts of the world has reached such heights that it would appear that world peace can now only be achieved by a miracle. And yet, contrary to a European perspective that miracles are supernatural, unpredictable phenomena, an old proverb drawing upon ancient Korean wisdom says that a miracle is synonymous with perseverance. We sorely need such perseverance in our actions, now more than ever, so that the miracle of world peace can be born from the hopes that brought us together 9 years ago in Seoul. Thanks for your attention.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very pleasant and peaceful day to everyone. My courtesies to our great leader, HWPH Chairman, Man Sihili, our great leader advocating peace in the whole world. Likewise to the other leaders today, my colleagues, everyone. I know that everyone gathered here speaks of the common language of heavenly WPHL, which is heavenly world peace. I join the heavenly culture, world peace, and restoration of light, and every peacemaker and advocate across the world in celebrating the 9th anniversary of the September 18 World Peace Summit. This occasion is a testament to more than 9 years of the continuing commitment of the heavenly culture, world peace, restoration of light, or HWPL, in pursuit of peace building and conflict resolution in the Philippines and overseas. I can vividly recall when I was in this country on September 18, 2015, when I attended the last annual commemoration of the World Alliance of Religions of Peace, or WARP Summit, and gave a message in which I highlighted the need for all of us to come together and continue to work towards our shared vision of peace and justice. I also shared that during that time, we had ended more than 40 years of unrest in the southern Philippines when we signed the comprehensive agreement on the Bangsamoro with the government of the Philippines in 2014. Today, I stand before all of you with utmost humility and say that the Bangsamoro is now a land of peace. A land of peace, prosperity, and justice, where Muslims, Christians, indigenous peoples, and our Lumad brothers and sisters coexist and live in harmony. Alhamdulillah. Despite the challenges we have faced during the early years of the transition period, we have endured to continue to create a bureaucracy that is rooted in the aspiration of the Bangsamoro people as a whole. During this time, we have achieved key legislation such as the Bangsamoro Administrative Code, Civil Service Code, Education Code, and Electoral Codes. These measures ensures that the foundation of this government are strong and affirmed by everyone in the area. In order to ascertain our goal of an empowered, cohesive, and progressive Bangsamoro, this current administration has introduced a 12-point priority agenda centered on moral governance. These 12-point priority agendas shape our budget, legislation, programs, and policies for the Bangsamoro region and its people, which have long been neglected. As we move to the next chapter of the transition period, these agendas will focus on moral governance, economy, social services, peaceful and resilient communities, climate-resilient infrastructure, culture, and identity presentation, and education. With humility, I share with you that the Bangsamoro region, the poorest region before, is now the second fastest growing region in the country. With an economic performance of 7.5%, we accredited this success to the significantly better peace and order situation in the region. This is the overarching guidepost of our model of governance, moral governance. We give that base program and services that the people deserve in accordance with the supreme law of Allah, the Almighty. If I may also share, earlier this year, during the 32nd World Peace Tour of our great leader, HWPL Chairman Man Hili, joined me in Camp Tarapanan, in our modest camp, when I signed the Declaration of Peace and Cessation of War and announced that January 24 in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region is a declaration of HWPL Peace Day. I likewise presented to Chairman Manhili a model of a tool, a cycle, which is a representation of the tools of the farmers in our area. And I told him that now we decided to melt our guns and convert it into cycles for our farmers. That is I did this because I was very much inspired by the very strong activities of HWPL in order to attain total peace in this world. And that is a recognition of our joining him in his campaign. So I now officially declare to all of you that we are one with Chairman Man Hili in his campaign for peace, heavenly peace in this world. Finally, as we embrace new age in the name of peace and development, I call upon everyone, every influential leader, policy makers, and peace advocate in all parts of the world to become a catapult that promotes peace, disarmament, and sustainable future. Let us continue to write a story of peace, one that is firmly based on our shared dedication to the common good and common goodwill. In that spirit, I wish you all a meaningful commemoration of the 9th anniversary of the September 18th World Peace Summit. May this auspicious day inspire you all to become an instrument of social change, justice, and peace. Shukran, we are one. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Hello, dear HWPL Peace family around the world. First of all, I would like to extend my greetings to Chairman Healy and all HWPL members around the world in achieving a peaceful world. My name is Jamal Suleiman Abdurrahman, Assistant Professor, Dean at a Culture of Peace Institute, Sudan University of Science and Technology. When I witnessed HWPL members working, it touched me deeply, leading me to join this noble journey. The HWPL team has conducted a peace advocate workshop in Darfur. Tribes leaders, women, peace activists, politicians, and youth gathered together to discuss what project would be proper to promote peace in Sudan. Starting from Darfur, experiencing a long-term conflict among different ethnic groups. All attending leaders shared a common desire for peace, which gives us hope that peace can be achieved if such meeting continue. One of the leaders said, neither the government nor the UN has organized such an event. So, I'm grateful that an organization like HWPL working for peace in Sudan. Currently, the Sudan conflict has been over 150 days since it broke in April, and about 2 million people have fled, causing a massive internal displacement. There are thousands of innocent civilian deaths and critical health and hunger crisis and more. Dear HWPL family, the ongoing Sudan conflict enabled us to realize the importance of DPCW in Sudan and also across the globe. One of HWPL members, a medical student, is currently providing a medical service for injured since this war broke out. She states, I strongly believe that the DPCW is crucial for Sudan. Weapons should no longer be used against innocent civilians. I think that can be possible through DPCW's adoption as an international law grantee, or to grantee disarmament and prevention of genocide. Respect leaders around the world, please remember you are uniquely well placed to encourage a culture of peace. So, I urge you to support DPCW at national level. The current world needs a comprehensive international law that can put end to wars. We should remember we are not internal owners but brewers for residents of the earth. To conclude, I ask the international community's interest in the peaceful resolution of Sudan situation, because we are one in peace.
Greetings, I am Samboyang Nergui of Sangnomong Monastery.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, honorary guests and delegates, respected honorables. First, I would like to express my warm greetings to Chairman of HWPL, Mr. Lee Mang-hee, and all others. I'm Samboyang Nergui from Sangnomong Monastery of Mongolia. It's an honor to be present at today's 2023 HWPL Global Peace Leaders Conference, giving this speech. Mongolia has a long religious history, and it's especially necessary to remember the time of Genghis Khan's Pax Mongolica. It's known that the first Mongol law enacted by Genghis Khan allowed religious tolerance and freedom. Genghis Khan's Mongol law stipulated that no one shall be disturbed or harassed for reasons of religion, and everyone shall enjoy the freedom to freely confess what they think is best. Mongolia was a country with such religious tolerance and developed based on that foundation. Sangnomong Monastery was established in Nalak district in 1993. It's already been 30 years. Now the monastery is expanding, and as a result, it has become a religious complex center. We are organizing various religious activities, as well as paying attention to the education of monks. It founded the religious secondary school called Chandman Irden, and obtained support from the monks of Sangnomong Monastery in 1998. In the past years, we had worked with the aim of Sangnomong Monastery becoming a religious complex center that combined the traditional Buddhist religion of Mongolia with the present. There are 4 basic sections of activities at Sangnomong Monastery: complex consisting of religious customs and religious ministration, secondary schooling and religious education, meditation, yoga, and psychology training, and humanities, creative arts. Sangnomong is also carrying out practical activities for interreligious harmony and communication by inheriting advanced religious culture. Representative activities attending HWPL's World Alliance of Religion Peace Office. Venerable Tsrendorj Ninchkorol, who is the Vice Kambal at the monastery, has attended the WARP office for about 7 years from 2016 to the present, sharing various opinions and communicating with other religions based on scriptures. Also, this June, we signed an MOU with HWPL for closer collaboration. All religions know the will of God and strive to follow it, and God's will can be known through the scriptures. There are many other interreligious activities, but HWPL
is special in that it communicates with other religions based on scriptures. Through these activities, we will be able to revitalize the culture of religious tolerance and communication, as in the case of Pax Mongolica, and restore the will of God according to the trustworthy scriptures. In order to revitalize this peaceful religious culture, Sanama Monastery co-hosted the Mongolian Religious Forum titled Solidarity of Religious Leaders on June 20 to bring together various religious people in Mongolia. Through this event, Mongolian religious people have once again realized that there were religious teachings behind Mongolia's proud history in addition. Mongolian religious people have been reminded of their mission to inform citizens of peaceful religious culture and solidarity. In particular, I believe that HWPL's Religious Peace Academy is groundbreaking peace project in this global era, where we need more understanding, respect, and solidarity with one another. In order to achieve perfect religious peace, religious leaders must first support and work together in the work of peace. In that sense, the Religious Peace Academy is a project that can bring together religious leaders to learn about each other's religion through genuine exchange and achieve interreligious peace. I have been teaching the class on Buddhism in the Religious Peace Academy since last July. As a Buddhist lecturer, I give lectures informing people of various religions around the world about the true meaning of the Buddhist scriptures. At the same time, I was also learning about the religions which made this time all the more meaningful for me. Many people think and feel that it's difficult to achieve interreligious peace. However, HWPL's courageous initiative to resolve such difficult and challenging endeavor for peace is greatly commendable and deserves much respect. I am proud to be with HWPL as a family of peace. Furthermore, I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude once again to HWPL Chairman, Mr. Lee Mang-hee, for inviting me to this World Peace Summit and for giving us valuable teaching of peace. I was able to communicate with many religious people from all over the world. Be enlightened of our duties and in solidarity with them for the cause of peace. In this light, I am confident that the peace network created through HWPL will spread beyond Korea to Mongolia and the world, so that peace can be achieved without fail. Sanama Monastery promises to be HWPL as an active peace family until the day all religious people realize the will of God and fulfill their mission of peace. Thank you very much for your attention.
Шановні учасники саміту, сьогодні надзвичайна подія. І користуючись
everyone at the summit here today, greetings. Today is a very special day, and I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to the Korean people and government, and also non-governmental organizations, as well as to international community for supporting Ukraine in this difficult time. I would also like to express my sincere gratitude to HWPL for their cooperation and for the opportunity to be present at this grand event. Through tears, despair, and loss, this war broke into our lives. Ukraine, which broke free from the shackles of totalitarian regime, sought to assert and develop itself on the principles of democracy, rule of law, equality, and human rights, which have the highest values of justice, peace, and freedom. Throughout its historical development, the nation of Ukraine demonstrated its peace-loving and consistent commitment to universal humanistic values. However, the hostile intentions of its aggressor, the Russian Federation, have torn our lives apart, taking away happy childhoods from our children, forcing millions of Ukrainians to leave their homes and destroying millions of lives and destinies. The HWPL Peace Education Project came to the Poltava State Medical University at the sounds of owling sirens, the buzzing of shades, drones, and ballistic missiles. How much more important would peace education be at a time such this? After all, in such moments, the value of peace is especially felt not only as a form of safe existence for people, society, and humanity, but also as a condition that ensures the realization of our social, cultural, and existential needs. Cooperation with HWPL has become an important step for us on the path to promoting peace and forming a deep global understanding of the value of peace among young people. Taking into account the professional direction of our educational institution, we should note that lessons of peace have become the quintessential lessons in all the humanitarian disciplines taught at the university. At the same time, they have been innovative and educational challenges not just the students but also to teachers. 12 peace lessons led to the idea that the problems and challenges of today and tomorrow cannot be escaped or shied from away. In such moments, we need courage. Courage that can save lives, that will spread the love of peace to other people. Today, Ukraine is undergoing a difficult time. It is the second year of the full-scale war and the 9th year of the hybrid war. Ukrainians are unbreakable, but they are physically tired and morally exhausted. So, awareness of the values of peace and human life is more important for us now than ever. As darkness allows us to know all the majesty of light, and as we can only distinguish good from knowing evil, we know the concept of peace and its value through the state of war. The value of human life is under the threat of being lost. Moreover, today, it's important for young people to realize that the world can exist without wars, that there are means of achieving peace. This is exactly what the implementation of HWPL Peace Education Project in Ukraine contributes to. We are conceived that peace, harmony, tranquility, and order can be achieved through the restoration of common values and civic virtues, the path to which lies in the education system. Education should appeal to every child and young person with the message that there is no alternative to a peaceful way of thinking and living. An important step towards institutionalization peace and promoting its culture will be the installation of a peace monument on one of the central streets of Poltava city. This monument will symbolize the unity of humanity in support of Ukraine. We are convinced that the construction of the Peace Monument during a time when enemy missiles tear apart the peaceful Ukrainian sky, leaving behind ruins and devastation, death and maiming, will direct the wishes of the people gathered in the letters to our only goal, for this long-awaited peace, a quick end of the war, and the restoration of territorial integrity. The construction of the Peace Monument in this Ukrainian city will be a significant event for our people and the international community, serving as a message of tolerance, peace coexistence, and non-violent conflict resolution for future generations, and as a contribution to the development of a culture of peace worldwide. It will become a symbol of unity and cooperation, harmony and mutual understanding, and will serve as a source of inspiration and a stimulus for changes in social relations. Dear summit attendees, I would like to note the extreme importance of the peacemaking activities that you carry out. Your tireless efforts in the development and maintenance of peace are incredible, and we appreciate your contribution to the development of strategies to ensure global peace. You are a shining example of commitment to universal values, and we must work together to create a better world, a world without wars, where is a culture of peace and mutual understanding will prevail. We sincerely thank you for your cooperation and for your all efforts to preserve peace on our planet. We hope that our synergy will contribute to the unification of our efforts for the unity of all people in the name of peace. Thank you for your attention. Glory to Ukraine.
Ayun, so mga kaibigan, napanood natin, napakinggan natin yung mga naging bisita ng mga leader ng iba't ibang bansa na isinagawa nga po dyan sa may Grand Hyatt sa may South Korea. No, yan po ang ginawa ng pinangunahan ng HWPL World Peace Summit. At after nga ng 3 taon, o matapos ang 3 taon, after 3 years, the HWPL celebrates World Peace Summit. Alam niyo mga kaibigan, tama yung sinasabi kanina no, ng mga nagtalumpati na katunayan po ay sabi nga may mga bata na mga teenager na bata pa lang, inaarmasa na, tinuturuan ng maging marahas na hindi naman po dapat, no? It's very bad. Dahil po dapat yung mga bata na yan ay nag-aaral, no? At itinataguyod ang kanilang mga pamilya at yun, ang nangyayari, nagiging marahas sila at tinuturuan po ng mga ibang tao na maging marahas. Hindi ho dapat. Kaya nga po sinusulong itong World Peace. No, kung makikita nyo sa iba't ibang lugar dito na lang sa Pilipinas ay may mga peace monument, no, meron dyan sa Laguna, sa Siniluan, meron sa iba't ibang sa marami lang ginawang peace monument ang HWPL na sana lahat ng bansa ay magkaroon po noon, hindi lamang isa sa bawat bansa kundi lahat ng lugar sa isang bansa. At sana tulad nga na sinabi natin, mabago ang nakalagay sa propesiya o nakalagay sa Biblia na yung sinasabing magkakaroon ng gera, no? Gera. Ito yung nakalagay sa Bible na bansa laban sa bansa. Huwag sanang mangyari. Kaso itong nakaraan lately ay naganap po sa Ukraine at saka sa Russia nga. Sana maayos naman ang pag-uusap, maging maayos, maging mapayapa. Kaya nga tayo maging maayos na, no? Kaya nga sinusulong ng HWPL ang World Peace. At sabi po ni Ma'am Ira Antea Buendia na so glad, sabi niya, So glad to watch this again after attending the conference held in Grand Hyatt, South Korea. Thank you, New Millennial Online TV. Don't mention it, ma'am. At we are part of the HWPL to pursue the world peace. No? Kaya don't mention it, ma'am. Okay, so mga kaibigan, sa oras na alas 8:30 ng gabi, Philippine Standard Time, ay pansamantala po, magpapala muna tayo pansamantala sa ating programa at tingnan natin kung makakapagbalik tayo bukas sa ating Wednesday edition ng ating programang Tropa. Muli po mga kaibigan, at bukas din abangan nyo po, no, at ilalabas na natin yung inaayos na po natin Hyatt yung plugging ng One Gun Pilipinas. At bago tayo magtapos, maraming salamat po kay na Kuya Guillermo Pangatungan ng Lapu-Lapu City dyan sa Cebu. Diyan ba sa inyo, Kuya Guillermo, meron ng Peace Monument. Ha? At din kay Corixman ng One Gun Pilipinas, maraming salamat. At kay Steelman, no? Kay Leo K na drawing din. Drawing. Sabi kasi itong paring Leo ko, papasyal daw. Nag-drawing na naman. At kay Ma'am Aleka Fajardo ng HWPL, maraming salamat sa panonood, Ma'am Aleka. At maraming salamat, don't mention it, Ma'am. At talagang alam niyo naman, kahit naman ang una, lahat ng inyong mga programa ay nilalabas natin dito sa New Millennial Online TV. At sabi pa ni Ma'am Ira Antea Buendia, thank you po, sir. God bless. More po. More power. No problem, ma'am. No problem, Ma'am Ira. At keep it up. At sana, ayun nga, tulad na sinabi ko, maging maganap na yung sinasabing world peace, no? At mabago yung nakasaad sa banal na kasulatan. Okay, at maraming salamat din kina Ma'am Aleka Fajardo, yun, si Ma'am Ira, no? At gayon din si Charlene Hall. Sabi niya, I agree. She said, she agree. Okay, so mga kaibigan, muli ako po yung naging kasama. At kila Ate Tek-Tek Valencia, Ate Tek-Tek nga pala, yung pong ating mga Lady Eagles sa President, no? Itong ating mga Lady Eagles President, magkakaroon po ng Oktoberfest, no, for a cause sa Metro Walk Eagles Hub sa October 13. Pre-1 beer, and first 50 person, yung una daw na 50 katao na papupunta ron, at another free flavored beer proceeds will goes to the lesser fortunate fellows. Ayan. Abangan niyo po ito, sa October 30 na po ito, ang Philippine Lady Eagles, mga president, magkakaroon ng Oktoberfest for a cause, no? Yan, huwag niyo pong kakaligtaan yan, Ayan. So ayan, abangan niyo po yan, mga katropa, abangan niyo po yan. At baka tayo titin natin kung makakapunta po tayo, no? Okay mga kaibigan, muli po at ako yung naging kasama, ka-jamming, ka-kosa, ka-brother, ka-kuya, ka-ate. Ito po sa programang Tropa. Muli po ako yung naging kasama, ROCEL LOPEZ. At buti magkita-kita po tayo bukas at mapayapang magdamag. Magandang gabi po.
Now,
Talakayin.
Biggest destruction of dangerous drugs worth 1.
Rebisahin. Opinyon. Malawakin. Aksyonan. Kasama si ROCEL LOPEZ, ang inyong katropa sa pagbabalita. Dito lang sa Millennial Online TV. Tutok na, mga katropa!
Ikaw ba'y nag-iisa? Nalulungkot? Dahil iniwan at ipinagpalit? Niyoko? Hindi minamahal. Kung ngayon, i-type sa inyong mga cellphone, Facebook o YouTube man ang Millennial Online TV. Dahil nasa Millennial Online TV na ang online realista ng bagong milenyo, si Randall Villanos.
Sana'y di magmahil kung dati kung araw nang di pang bata sa piling ni nanay. Nais kong mauli ang awit ninang mahal. You are the one who makes me happy when everything else turns to gray. Walk on through the rain. Walk on through the rain. Though your dreams be tossed and low.
At haharanahin kayo ni Randall ng iba't ibang awitin para maibsan ang inyong inip at kalungkutan kahit nasaan man kayo.
Hanggang sa tumanda. Come on. Matanda na, sana'y di tayo magbago.
At pwede rin kayo makiduet kay Randall tuwing Huwebes ng hapon. Ano pa hinihintay nyo mga kamilenyo? Tawag na!
Mga millennials, marunong na ba kayong magluto ng mga masasarap at swak sa budget na mga pagkain? Abay, wag puro lang kayo AXI at ML at puro pagkakalikot lang ng cellphone. Dapat marunong ka rin sa gawaing bahay at tulungan ang inyong mga mamsi. Kaya tara na, samahan natin ang kusinera ng bagong milenyo, si Ate J. At tuturuan tayong magluto ng mga masasarap na ulam para sa ating mga hapagkainan at swak pa sa budget. Ika nga, a delicious food on a proper price. Tara na, mga katropa! I-type lang sa inyong mga cellphone, sa inyong mga Facebook at YouTube, ang Millennial Online TV.
Hanap mo ba ay Unwind Ventures? Tara nang mamangha sa mga tanawin. Ano man ang iyong travel goals? Dadalhin namin kayo. Sa Unwind Ventures at saya. Dito lang sa Wow Biyahe. Kaya wow, di ba?
Abangan dito lang sa Millennial Online TV. Binaiting, binalakas, ang bagong news online TV ng bagong milenyo. Millennial Online TV, ang katropa mo sa pagbabalita.